Hi, how are you? My name is Neil and I'm with HelpMeAutomate.com. We're here today to work on replacing an AC condenser on a 2006 Honda Civic. And here is the car we're going to be working on. It's a four-door Civic. And we got a leaking AC condenser. Here's some of the basic tools we're going to need. 10mm wrenches, an Allen wrench. We've got a removal tool for the clips, for the body clips, and then a ratchet with a 10mm universal socket on it. And I also have an air ratchet here with a 10mm socket on it. But of course you don't need an air ratchet, you can use a standard ratchet as well. And then I have a simplistic charging set that you can pick up at any auto store. And we got our Freon here. It's got a simple hose. And first of all, we're going to attach it to the low pressure line. We're going to put a little bit of gas in there as soon as I get the condenser exposed and just verify that we have a leak. So the first step in the process here is to get our condenser exposed. So I'm going to grab the clip removal tool and my Allen wrench. And this is how we take this apart. There's a couple of clips on top here that are retaining this whole section here, which is the upper valance cover, which covers the radiator as well as the condenser. And we just pop this up. You can also use a regular screwdriver if you don't have a removal tool that looks like this. And that you can pick up these at any parts store as well. So you take these two clips off, and then there's clips over here on the side, and these clips intertwine with this side rail here. Now we're just going to put this over here in safekeeping right now, as well as this one. This one pulls right out. You do have to be careful with these because they will break on you, especially the older ones. They get brittle. And then that one is there, it's gone already. So now this is all loose and ready to come out. So the next step is you've got to get it from underneath the side rails as well as the front fender right here. It goes underneath the fender lip. And then we have the hood release lever here to contend with. And this side here, just kind of walk it out from underneath, and then it comes right out from underneath that hood release leveler, and there we have it. It is removed. Next step in the process is we have to take the front bumper all the way across. It has to come down a little bit so we can gain access. So what we're going to do is use an Allen wrench, and that is used on the upper grill section right here. There's two Allen screws that go into the upper radiator support. Simply take those out. And this one here. Okay, and then we see that the front grille is loose, but this is also attached to the upper part of the bumper. So next is we have to remove the top part of the bumper. We come over here to the side, right on the front, right below the fender. Pull on the end here. These are clips in these holes that hold it in. So the clips go all around the front. So you just gently, very gently pull on the front the bumper there. It releases the clips. Okay, this side, as you can see, is all removed. This is all loose. Now we go over to the other side. And again, we pull it from the clips. Just kind of walk it around very gently. Don't want to break these clips because they will give you some problems going back together. So now we have the front bumper cover has been dropped down, as you can see. And there it is. It's dropped down there, and there's our little bird, unfortunately. Picked up one from the road. And then there is our condenser right in front of us. You can see this one has a big bow in the bottom right down here. So that's where, more than likely, where the leak is coming from. So what we're going to do is shoot a little bit of gas into it, some 134A, and just verify that we can hear it leaking out of there. This is our charge can with the hose. I got the hose hooked up to the low pressure line. Again, make sure you hook it to the low pressure line. You can't hook it to the high pressure line, but that would be very dangerous. And then we open the valve here. I've already punctured the can. And this will inject a little bit of gas into the system. Kind of like putting blood pressure into your body. Close this off so it seals it. Yep. Now we're going to walk around to the condenser, see if we can hear it hissing out. Sure enough, you can hear it right there at the front of the condenser. The other ways to find the leak, besides hearing it, is an electronic leak detector, which sounds like a Geiger counter, and it beeps at you when you get close to the freon leaking out. The other method is to use dye, an ultraviolet dye. You put it in the system and you let it circulate in there, and then you'll use a black light to detect where it's coming out at. Now we're going to remove the mounts. Well, you could really hear it leaking out now. Okay, so next step is to loosen the mounts, and we want to turn to your left, a little righty-tighty, lefty-loosey deal, and we take this mount bolt off. Just going to set it right there for now. These we can kind of swing out of the way a little bit to walk the condenser out of the position. This one I've already taken out right here, and we'll swing this one out of the way there. And then for the lines, we're going to use a 10mm wrench, box end wrench like this. And what you have to watch out for with these lines, remember this is all aluminum, and this stuff is going to oxidize over the years and kind of get corroded in there. So what you got to do is, when you go to loosen this, if it's very, very tight, you want to just kind of tug at it a little bit to the left to loosen it, and once it kind of loosens a little bit, then you can go back to the right just a touch, and you kind of walk it back and forth to try and break those threads loose. And then after you get it turning a little bit more, you'll still get some resistance possibly if there's a lot of corrosion on there. You just turn it a little bit each time and just kind of baby it out of there. If you break these bolts, especially if you're wanting to reuse the condenser, if you're getting it fixed, or if you're just removing it for another reason, like replacing a line, and you're just replacing one line and not the condenser, you're going to want to make sure that you do not break these bolts. The other line is down at the bottom here. I'm getting it from up top, but you can also Get it from down here underneath the front bumper, right here. I like a little bit better leverage from pulling up top. And then again, let's see, this one's a little bit tight. So I'm going to loosen it up to the left just a little, and then retighten it to the right a little bit, and then back to the left, back to the right, again to the left, again to the right. And you see it's turning a little bit more each time. And as I gradually walk it further each time, then we're able to get it loose. And you can see this car's got 180,000 miles on it, so it's got quite a bit of road debris, dirt, corrosion, even some dead birds. And we're getting this out of there nice and freely. It's always good. And at this point you can now use a ratchet, but mine is sitting elsewhere, so we're just going to wrench it out. You can see on this bolt, on the shank of the bolt, it's set correct already. Okay, you see on the shank of this bolt here, there is some white corrosion buildup, and that's the oxidation that I was talking about. So I'm going to clean that off before we put it back in, of course. But now we have the line, should be coming loose. Sometimes you got to kind of work on it to get it out of there again because of the oxidation time and everything else. You just kind of be gentle with it. If you pry on this with any kind of tools on the face of it back in here where it seals, that can cause the metal, the aluminum, to get distorted, and it could leak when you put it back together. So you just kind of got to walk it out of there, be gentle with it, and it'll come out. And there it is. You got a little O-ring seal on there. If we're going to replace that seal, that's the connector into the condenser. Okay, we're moving the upper bolt for the line, the upper line, and this time I am using the ratchet. And this one, of course, has the same residue buildup on it. Again, we got to walk this one out. If you have to use tools, you can do so, just you got to be very, very gentle. I prefer not to, so I don't have any further complications. And there, can you see that coming loose there? Slowly but surely.